The story begins in autumn, in a small town in upstate New York. In a quiet neighborhood where every house was decorated for Halloween, lived a young family, Mark, Emily, and their 2-year-old son Alex. Living with them was their dog, a sweet little Chihuahua named Bella. Bella was not just a pet. She was a full member of the family. She always ran beside Alex, guarding him from any small troubles. Mark worked for a local insurance company, and Emily was a freelancer and spent most of her time at home with her son. They had only recently moved into the house. Everything seemed perfect. A nice house, friendly neighbours, and a quiet street. Soon, however, strange events began to disturb their tranquility. One evening, Mark was late for work. Emily was sitting in the living room, relaxing after a long day with Alex. The time was around 9 in the evening, and darkness had long since fallen outside the window. Bella was running around the yard as usual, happy for the fresh air. Emily glanced at the window and suddenly froze. In the front yard, on the neighbour's lawn, stood a scarecrow. It was an unusual scarecrow, its head carved out of a pumpkin, with an intimidating grin. In its hands it held a huge scythe. Emily thought that the neighbours were just too busy preparing for Halloween. However, she felt uneasy. The pumpkin on the scarecrow's head was staring straight out the window, as if it were watching Emily's house. She decided it was just her imagination. Bella continued to run around the yard, and Emily decided to call him inside. Opening the back door, she shouted, "Bella, home!" However, the little dog didn't come running. Usually Bella was the first one at the doorstep, worth calling him. But now he had disappeared somewhere. Emily went out on the porch and called out again, "Bella, where are you?" Silence. Suddenly there was a faint whimper in the darkness, and then it was gone. Emily ran around the yard, searching every corner. When Mark returned, they searched for him until late afternoon, but to no avail. Bella was missing. The next morning, Emily noticed another disappearance. The stuffed animal that had been standing at the neighbour's house was also gone. 3 days passed. Mark and Emily were worried about Bella, and the atmosphere in the house became tense. On Halloween Day, they decided to distract themselves and go to visit their friends for a festive dinner. They decided to leave Alex at home with a babysitter they trusted. The nanny's name was Kate. She was an experienced girl who often babysat in the neighbourhood. She came in the afternoon and took care of the baby right away. The parents had warned her that they might be late and asked her to watch Alex while he slept. That evening, Emily still couldn't get that strange scarecrow incident out of her mind. She tried to convince herself that it was just a coincidence, that Bella had run away or someone had picked him up. When she and Mark left, Alex went to bed. The house was quiet, with only the wind rustling the leaves outside. Kate sat on the sofa with a book, enjoying the peace. Suddenly something caught her attention. Her gaze accidentally fell on the window, where Emily had seen the scarecrow a couple of days before. There was something standing again. Kate shuddered. It was the same scarecrow, with a pumpkin for a head. She noticed something else. The scarecrow was leaning slightly, as if watching the house. Kate felt a chill run down her spine, and she moved away from the window. She picked up the phone and called Mark. "Mark, I think there's someone standing outside the house," Kate said in a shaky voice. "It's a scarecrow. It looks like it's moving." Mark tried to reassure her, explaining that it was just a neighbour's decoration, and nothing scary was going on. However, Kate sensed that something was wrong. Mark and Emily remembered that after Bella had disappeared, the scarecrow had also disappeared. Excited by her story, they immediately snapped out of their seats and hurried home. On the way, they contacted the police. Driving home, they thought it was just a Halloween prank. When they pulled up to the house, everything seemed quiet. The police inspected the house and found Kate, on the first floor of the house in Alex's room. Her body was lying on the floor, covered in blood, with numerous stab wounds. In Alex's bed, in a pool of blood, lay their dog, Bella. Alex was nowhere to be found. He was missing. The police found no signs of forced entry, except that the living room window was open, and on the windowsill was a bundle of old straw. The next morning, the police interviewed the neighbours who had the stuffed animal. However, the neighbours explained that they had not been home for 5 days. They had been in another state with relatives and had only returned home this morning. The neighbours explained that they were not preparing for Halloween, and they had not placed any scarecrows in their yard.
Happy Halloween.